Welcome to the Winbert Foundation Digital Inclusion Program. Scheduling is one of the core pillars of effective project management, as it transforms project plans into actionable timelines. In this course, Project Management Foundations, Scheduling Part 1, you will be introduced to the foundational concepts of project scheduling, including how to define activities, sequence tasks logically, and estimate the time required to complete each component of a project. A well-developed schedule not only guides execution but also helps project managers anticipate delays, allocate resources efficiently, and track progress against defined milestones. This course lays the groundwork for building realistic and achievable project timelines, setting the stage for more advanced scheduling techniques in the next course. By the end of this course, you will be able to understand the importance of scheduling within the broader context of project management, identify and define project activities required to deliver project outcomes, apply basic techniques for sequencing tasks and establishing dependencies, estimate activity durations using appropriate methods and assumptions, develop a simple project schedule using foundational tools and techniques. Module 1. Understanding the importance of scheduling within the broader context of project management. Project scheduling is a foundational component of effective project management, serving as the roadmap that guides a project from initiation to completion. At its core, scheduling involves defining when project activities will occur, how long they will take, and in what sequence they must be executed. Without a clear schedule, even the most well-funded and strategically planned projects can fail due to poor time management, missed deadlines, and inefficient coordination of resources. Scheduling provides structure and clarity, ensuring that all stakeholders understand what needs to be done, when it should be done, and who is responsible for each task. In the broader context of project management, scheduling is closely linked with other key knowledge areas such as scope, cost, quality, and resource management. For instance, the project scope defines what needs to be delivered, while the schedule determines when those deliverables will be completed. Similarly, cost management depends heavily on the schedule because prolonged project timelines often lead to increased expenses. A delay in one activity can have a ripple effect, impacting subsequent tasks and ultimately affecting the overall project budget and quality of deliverables. Therefore, scheduling is not an isolated function but an integrative process that connects all aspects of project execution. One of the primary reasons scheduling is so important is that it enables effective time management. Time is one of the most constrained resources in any project, and once lost, it cannot be recovered. A well-developed schedule helps project managers allocate time wisely, prioritize critical tasks, and ensure that deadlines are realistic and achievable. For example, in the construction of a residential building, activities such as laying the foundation, erecting the structure, and installing electrical systems must follow a specific sequence. If the foundation work is delayed due to poor scheduling, it will automatically push back all subsequent activities, potentially leading to significant financial losses and dissatisfied clients. Another critical aspect of scheduling is its role in resource optimization. Projects often involve limited resources, including labor, equipment, and materials. Scheduling helps ensure that these resources are used efficiently by assigning them to tasks at the right time. For instance, in an ICT training program, instructors, computer systems, and training materials must be available when sessions are scheduled. If the schedule is poorly planned, it may result in resource conflicts, such as double booking instructors or underutilizing available facilities. This not only disrupts the flow of the project but also reduces overall productivity. Scheduling also plays a vital role in communication and stakeholder management. A clear and detailed schedule serves as a communication tool that keeps all stakeholders informed about project timelines, milestones, and progress. It helps manage expectations by providing a transparent view of when deliverables will be completed. For example, in organizing a corporate event, stakeholders such as vendors, sponsors, and participants rely on the event schedule to plan their activities. If the schedule is unclear or frequently changes, it can lead to confusion, misalignment, and loss of trust among stakeholders. In addition, scheduling is essential for monitoring and controlling project performance. Once a schedule is established, it becomes a baseline against which actual progress can be measured. Project managers can track whether tasks are being completed on time and identify any deviations from the plan. This allows for early detection of potential delays and the implementation of corrective actions. For example, in a software development project, if a particular module is taking longer than expected, the project manager can reassign resources, adjust timelines, or revise the scope to keep the project on track. Real-life scenarios further highlight the importance of scheduling. Consider a small business launching a new product. The project involves activities such as market research, product design, production, marketing, and distribution. Without a proper schedule, these activities may overlap inappropriately or be executed out of sequence, leading to inefficiencies and missed market opportunities. However, with a well-structured schedule, the business can ensure that each phase is completed in a logical order, maximizing efficiency and increasing the chances of a successful product launch. Similarly, in a church setting, planning a major program such as a conference or outreach event requires careful scheduling. Activities such as venue preparation, publicity, guest coordination, and logistics must be planned and executed within a specific time frame. A detailed schedule ensures that all preparations are completed before the event date, reducing last-minute stress and ensuring a smooth and impactful program. In conclusion, scheduling is a critical element of project management that influences the success or failure of a project. It provides a structured approach to managing time, resources, and activities, ensuring that projects are completed efficiently and effectively. By understanding the importance of scheduling within the broader project management framework, project managers can improve planning, enhance coordination, and deliver better outcomes. As projects become more complex and dynamic, the ability to develop and manage effective schedules becomes an indispensable skill for any project professional. Module 2: How to identify and define project activities required to deliver project outcomes. Identifying and defining project activities is a critical step in project management that bridges the gap between high-level project goals and actual execution. Every project is initiated with specific objectives and expected outcomes, but these outcomes cannot be achieved unless they are broken down into manageable, actionable tasks. This process ensures that nothing essential is overlooked and that all team members clearly understand what needs to be done. Without properly defined activities, projects often suffer from confusion, duplication of effort, and missed deliverables. The first step in identifying project activities is to thoroughly understand the project scope. The scope outlines what the project is expected to deliver and sets the boundaries for what is included and excluded. A clear scope provides the foundation for identifying all necessary tasks. For example, if a project involves organizing a conference, the scope may include securing a venue, inviting speakers, managing registrations, and handling logistics. Each of these components must then be broken down further into specific activities such as booking the venue, designing invitation materials, setting up an online registration system, and arranging transportation for guests. A widely used technique for defining project activities is the Work Breakdown Structure, WBS. The WBS is a hierarchical decomposition of the project into smaller, more manageable components. It starts with the overall project objective and breaks it down into deliverables, subdeliverables, and ultimately into individual activities or tasks. This structured approach ensures that all aspects of the project are accounted for. For instance, in an ICT training program, the WBS might include major deliverables such as curriculum development, participant recruitment, training delivery, and evaluation. Each of these deliverables can then be broken down into specific activities like designing course materials, advertising the program, scheduling training sessions, and conducting assessments. Once activities are identified, the next step is to define them clearly. Defining activities involves specifying what the task entails, who is responsible for it, the expected output, and any resources required. Clear definitions eliminate ambiguity and ensure that everyone involved understands their roles and responsibilities. For example, instead of listing a vague activity like prepare training materials, a well-defined activity would be develop PowerPoint slides and handouts for Module 1 of the training program. This level of clarity helps prevent misunderstandings and ensures that tasks are executed correctly. Another important aspect of defining project activities is ensuring that they are measurable and achievable. Activities should be defined in a way that allows progress to be tracked and evaluated. This means avoiding overly broad or vague descriptions and instead focusing on specific, tangible outputs. For instance, in a product launch project, an activity like promote the product is too broad, whereas design and publish 3 social media campaigns within 2 weeks is specific and measurable. Clearly defined activities make it easier to monitor progress and determine whether tasks have been completed successfully. Real-life scenarios highlight the importance of properly identifying and defining project activities. Consider a construction project to build a residential house. If the project manager fails to identify key activities such as obtaining permits, sourcing materials, or conducting inspections, the project may face delays or legal issues. Similarly, if activities are not clearly defined, workers may not understand their tasks, leading to errors and rework. By using a structured approach like the WBS and clearly defining each activity, the project manager can ensure that all necessary steps are included and executed efficiently. In a business setting, imagine a startup developing a mobile application. The project outcome is to launch a functional app, but this requires a series of well-defined activities such as market research, user interface design, coding, testing, and deployment. If these activities are not properly identified, critical steps like testing may be overlooked, resulting in a faulty product. Additionally, if tasks are not clearly defined, team members may duplicate efforts or miss important details. Proper activity definition ensures that each stage of development is completed systematically, leading to a successful product launch. In a church context, planning a large outreach program also requires careful identification and definition of activities. Tasks may include publicity, volunteer coordination, venue setup, and follow-up with attendees. Each of these must be broken down into specific actions such as printing flyers, assigning volunteer roles, arranging seating, and collecting contact information. Clear activity definition ensures that the event runs smoothly and achieves its intended impact. Furthermore, involving team members in the process of identifying and defining activities can enhance accuracy and ownership. Team members often have practical insights into what tasks are required and how they should be executed. Their input can help identify potential challenges and ensure that activities are realistic and comprehensive. This collaborative approach also fosters accountability, as team members are more likely to take responsibility for tasks they help define. In conclusion, identifying and defining project activities is a foundational step that directly influences the success of a project. It transforms broad objectives into actionable tasks, ensures clarity and accountability, and provides a basis for scheduling and resource allocation. By using tools like the work breakdown structure and focusing on clear, measurable activity definitions, project managers can create a solid framework for project execution. This not only improves efficiency but also increases the likelihood of achieving project outcomes successfully. Module 3. How to apply basic techniques for sequencing tasks and establishing dependencies. Effective project execution depends not only on identifying tasks but also on arranging them in the correct order. Task sequencing is the process of determining the logical flow of activities, while dependencies define the relationships between those activities. Together, they ensure that work progresses in a structured and efficient manner. Without proper sequencing and clearly defined dependencies, projects can experience confusion, delays, and wasted resources, as tasks may be performed out of order or without the necessary prerequisites in place. At the heart of task sequencing is the understanding that not all activities can occur simultaneously. Some tasks must be completed before others can begin, while others can run concurrently. Establishing this logical order is essential for creating a realistic and workable project schedule. For example, in a simple construction project, the foundation must be laid before the walls can be erected. Attempting to build walls without a completed foundation would not only be impractical but could also result in structural failure. This illustrates the importance of identifying the correct sequence of activities to ensure project success. Dependencies are the relationships that dictate how tasks are connected. There are 4 primary types of task dependencies commonly used in project management. The first is finish to start, FS, where one task must be completed before another can begin. This is the most common type of dependency. The second is start to start, SS, where 2 tasks can begin at the same time or one shortly after the other starts. The third is finish to finish, FF, where 2 tasks must be completed at the same time. The fourth is start to finish, SF, which is less common and involves a task that cannot finish until another task has started. Understanding these dependency types helps project managers accurately map out the flow of activities. One of the most widely used techniques for sequencing tasks is the use of network diagrams. A network diagram visually represents project activities and their dependencies, making it easier to understand the flow of work. Activities are typically represented as nodes or boxes, while arrows indicate the relationships between them. This visual approach allows project managers to identify the sequence of tasks, detect potential bottlenecks, and ensure that all dependencies are accounted for. For example, in planning a product launch, a network diagram can illustrate how market research leads to product design, which then leads to production and marketing activities. Another important technique is the critical path method, CPM, which helps identify the longest sequence of dependent tasks that determines the minimum project duration. The critical path represents the activities that cannot be delayed without affecting the overall project timeline. By focusing on these critical tasks, project managers can prioritize resources and monitor progress more effectively. For instance, in a software development project, tasks such as coding core functionalities, testing, and deployment may form the critical path. Any delay in these activities will directly impact the project completion date. Real-life scenarios further demonstrate the importance of sequencing and dependencies. Consider organizing a large conference. Activities such as booking a venue, inviting speakers, and promoting the event must follow a logical sequence. The venue must be secured before invitations can be finalized, and promotional activities must begin early enough to attract participants. If these tasks are not properly sequenced, the event may suffer from low attendance or logistical challenges. Dependencies ensure that each step is completed at the right time, contributing to a successful outcome. In a business context, imagine a startup launching a new mobile application. The process involves designing the user interface, developing the back-end, integrating features, testing, and finally releasing the app. These tasks are interdependent. For example, testing cannot begin until development is sufficiently advanced, and deployment cannot occur until testing is completed. By clearly defining these dependencies, the project team can avoid premature actions that could lead to errors or rework. Proper sequencing ensures a smooth and efficient development process. In a church setting, planning a major outreach program also requires careful sequencing of tasks. Activities such as selecting a date, securing a venue, mobilizing volunteers, and promoting the event must be arranged logically. For instance, publicity efforts depend on having confirmed details about the event, such as the venue and guest speakers. If promotion begins before these details are finalized, it may lead to confusion and misinformation. Establishing clear dependencies helps ensure that all activities are aligned and executed in the correct order. Another key consideration in sequencing tasks is identifying external and internal dependencies. Internal dependencies are within the control of the project team, such as completing one task before starting another. External dependencies, on the other hand, involve factors outside the team's control, such as waiting for regulatory approvals or supplier deliveries. Recognizing these dependencies allows project managers to plan for potential delays and develop contingency strategies. For example, in a construction project, delays in material delivery can impact the entire schedule, making it essential to account for such external factors during planning. Involving team members in the sequencing process can also improve accuracy and efficiency. Team members often have practical insights into how tasks should be ordered and what dependencies exist. Their input can help identify potential challenges and ensure that the sequence of activities is realistic. This collaborative approach not only enhances the quality of the schedule, but also fosters a sense of ownership and accountability among team members. In conclusion, sequencing tasks and establishing dependencies are critical skills in project management that ensure activities are performed in the correct order and at the right time. By applying techniques such as network diagrams and the critical path method, project managers can create clear and logical workflows that minimize delays and optimize resource use. Understanding and managing dependencies, both internal and external, further enhances the effectiveness of project planning. Ultimately, proper task sequencing lays the foundation for successful project execution and timely delivery of outcomes. Module 4: How to estimate activity durations using appropriate methods and assumptions. Estimating activity durations is a critical step in project scheduling that directly influences the success of a project. It involves predicting the amount of time required to complete each identified activity based on available information, resources, and constraints. Accurate duration estimates enable project managers to develop realistic schedules, allocate resources effectively, and set achievable deadlines. On the other hand, poor estimation can lead to missed deadlines, budget overruns, and stakeholder dissatisfaction. Therefore, understanding the methods and assumptions used in estimating durations is essential for effective project management. At its core, duration estimation is both a science and an art. It requires the use of structured techniques while also relying on professional judgment and experience. Before estimating durations, it is important to clearly define each activity and understand its scope. Vague or poorly defined activities make it difficult to produce accurate estimates. For example, an activity described as prepare report is too broad, whereas compile and format monthly sales report for management review provides a clearer basis for estimation. The more specific the activity, the more accurate the estimate is likely to be. One of the most commonly used methods for estimating activity durations is expert judgment. This involves consulting individuals or teams with relevant experience and expertise to provide informed estimates. For instance, in a construction project, an experienced engineer can estimate how long it will take to complete foundation work based on previous projects. While expert judgment is valuable, it should be used carefully to avoid bias or overconfidence. Combining input from multiple experts can improve accuracy and reduce the risk of errors. Another widely used technique is analogous estimating, which relies on historical data from similar past projects. This method is particularly useful when detailed information is limited. For example, if a previous ICT training program took 3 weeks to complete, a similar program may be estimated to take a comparable amount of time. However, adjustments may be necessary to account for differences in scope, resources, or complexity. While analogous estimating is relatively quick and cost-effective, it may not always be highly accurate, especially for unique or complex projects. Parametric estimating is a more quantitative approach that uses statistical relationships between variables to estimate durations. This method involves applying a known rate or unit of measure to determine the total time required. For example, if it takes 2 hours to train one participant and there are 50 participants, the total training duration can be estimated based on that rate. This approach is particularly useful for repetitive tasks and projects with well-defined parameters. However, it requires reliable data and may not be suitable for activities with high variability. A more advanced technique is the 3-point estimating method, which considers uncertainty by using 3 different estimates: the optimistic, best case, pessimistic, worst case, and most likely durations. These estimates are then combined to produce a more realistic expected duration. This method helps account for risks and uncertainties that may affect task completion. For instance, in a software development project, the time required to complete a feature may vary depending on technical challenges or unforeseen issues. By considering multiple scenarios, project managers can develop more balanced and reliable estimates. In addition to these methods, it is important to make appropriate assumptions when estimating durations. Assumptions are factors that are considered true for planning purposes, even though they may not be guaranteed. For example, a project manager may assume that all team members will be available throughout the project, or that there will be no major disruptions. While assumptions are necessary, they should be documented and reviewed regularly to ensure they remain valid. Unrealistic or unverified assumptions can lead to inaccurate estimates and project delays. Real-life scenarios highlight the importance of accurate duration estimation. Consider a business planning to launch a new product. Activities such as market research, product design, production, and marketing must each be assigned realistic timeframes. If the production phase is underestimated, the product may not be ready for launch, resulting in missed market opportunities and financial losses. By using appropriate estimation methods and validating assumptions, the business can develop a schedule that supports a successful launch. In a church setting, planning a large event such as a conference also requires careful duration estimation. Activities like publicity, venue preparation, and guest coordination must be completed within specific timeframes. For example, printing and distributing flyers may take longer than expected due to logistical challenges. If this activity is underestimated, it could delay publicity efforts and reduce attendance. Accurate estimation helps ensure that all preparations are completed on time, contributing to a successful event. It is also important to consider factors that can influence activity durations, such as resource availability, skill levels, and external conditions. For example, a task assigned to an experienced team member may be completed faster than one assigned to a less experienced individual. Similarly, external factors such as weather conditions or supplier delays can impact timelines. Project managers must take these variables into account when estimating durations and build flexibility into the schedule to accommodate potential changes. Involving team members in the estimation process can further improve accuracy. Team members who will be performing the tasks often have valuable insights into how long activities will take. Their input can help identify potential challenges and ensure that estimates are realistic. This collaborative approach also promotes accountability and commitment, as team members are more likely to adhere to timelines they helped establish. In conclusion, estimating activity durations is a vital component of project scheduling that requires careful consideration of methods, assumptions, and influencing factors. By using techniques such as expert judgment, analogous estimating, parametric estimating, and three-point estimating, project managers can develop more accurate and reliable schedules. Documenting assumptions and involving team members further enhances the quality of estimates. Ultimately, effective duration estimation enables projects to be completed on time, within budget, and to the satisfaction of stakeholders. Module 5. How to develop a simple project schedule using foundational tools and techniques. Developing a simple project schedule is a crucial step in transforming project plans into actionable timelines. A project schedule outlines when activities will start and finish, how they are sequenced, and how resources are allocated. It serves as a practical guide for executing the project and monitoring progress. A well-structured schedule helps ensure that tasks are completed on time, resources are used efficiently, and project objectives are achieved within the defined constraints. This module focuses on how to create a basic yet effective project schedule using foundational tools and techniques. The process of developing a project schedule begins with the inputs gathered from earlier planning stages. These include the list of defined activities, their sequence, dependencies, and estimated durations. Without these elements, it is impossible to create a realistic schedule. For example, if a project manager has already identified all tasks required to organize a training program, determined their order, and estimated how long each task will take, the next step is to arrange these tasks into a timeline that reflects the flow of work from start to finish. One of the most commonly used tools for creating a simple project schedule is the Gantt chart. A Gantt chart is a visual representation of the project timeline, where activities are displayed as horizontal bars along a calendar. Each bar represents the duration of a task, and its position indicates the start and end dates. This tool makes it easy to see how tasks overlap, identify dependencies, and track progress. For instance, in an ICT training project, a Gantt chart can show when curriculum development begins and ends, when participant recruitment takes place, and when training sessions are conducted. This visual clarity helps both the project team and stakeholders understand the overall schedule. Another foundational technique is the use of a project calendar. The project calendar defines the working days and hours for the project, taking into account weekends, holidays, and other non-working periods. This ensures that the schedule reflects realistic timelines. For example, if a project is being executed in Nigeria, public holidays and weekends must be considered when planning task durations. Ignoring these factors can lead to unrealistic schedules and missed deadlines. A well-defined calendar helps align the schedule with actual working conditions. In addition to Gantt charts and calendars, simple scheduling can also be done using spreadsheets or basic project management software. Tools like spreadsheets allow project managers to list activities, assign start and end dates, and track progress. While these tools may lack advanced features, they are sufficient for small to medium-sized projects. For example, a small business planning a product launch can use a spreadsheet to organize tasks such as product design, marketing, and distribution, ensuring that each activity is completed within the required timeframe. Developing a project schedule also involves identifying milestones. Milestones are significant points or events in the project timeline that indicate progress or completion of key phases. They do not have durations but serve as checkpoints to assess whether the project is on track. For instance, in a conference planning project, milestones may include venues secured, speakers confirmed, and registration closed. These milestones help project managers and stakeholders monitor progress and make informed decisions. Resource allocation is another important aspect of scheduling. Each activity requires resources such as personnel, equipment, or materials. When developing a schedule, it is essential to ensure that resources are available when needed and are not overallocated. For example, if a single trainer is responsible for multiple training sessions, the schedule must ensure that sessions do not overlap. Proper resource allocation helps prevent conflicts and ensures that tasks are completed efficiently. Real-life scenarios illustrate the practical application of scheduling techniques. Consider a startup organizing a product launch event. The project involves activities such as market research, product development, branding, marketing campaigns, and event planning. By using a Gantt chart, the project manager can map out these activities, ensuring that each step is completed in the correct order. For example, marketing campaigns should begin only after the product is sufficiently developed, and the launch event should be scheduled after all preparations are complete. A clear schedule helps the team stay organized and ensures a successful launch. In a church context, planning a large program such as a revival or conference requires careful scheduling. Activities such as publicity, logistics, guest coordination, and venue setup must be arranged in a logical sequence. A simple schedule can help ensure that flyers are distributed on time, volunteers are assigned roles, and all preparations are completed before the event date. This reduces last-minute stress and enhances the overall success of the program. Monitoring and updating the schedule is equally important. A project schedule is not static. It must be reviewed regularly to reflect actual progress and any changes in the project. Delays, unexpected challenges, or changes in scope may require adjustments to the schedule. For example, if a supplier delays the delivery of materials, the project manager may need to reschedule certain activities. Regular updates ensure that the schedule remains relevant and continues to guide project execution effectively. Involving team members in the scheduling process can also improve accuracy and commitment. Team members who are responsible for executing tasks can provide valuable input on realistic timelines and potential challenges. Their involvement fosters a sense of ownership and accountability, increasing the likelihood that tasks will be completed as planned. In conclusion, developing a simple project schedule using foundational tools and techniques is essential for successful project execution. By leveraging tools such as Gantt charts, project calendars, and spreadsheets, project managers can create clear and realistic timelines. Incorporating milestones, allocating resources effectively, and regularly monitoring progress further enhance the quality of the schedule. With a well-developed schedule, project teams can stay organized, meet deadlines, and achieve project objectives efficiently. We have now come to the end of this course. Thank you.